ones, your 50s, put your hundreds, and you shoot into my hands. You know I love you. Oh, yeah. Something bad, I just let go. Love hurts, it won't work. Day after day, you're telling your story, saying your girlfriend. There goes the love I have, cheated on me, and that's for that now. We need some time alone. We need to let it brew. While he was bragging, I was coming down the hill of just a dragon. And I have seen my share of things. You make me wanna shout, make me wanna scream, make me lose my cool. All we do is make up.
You ever wonder how a rising R&B star with chart-topping hits, a Grammy nod, and the voice to rival Beyoncé just disappears? Because Blu Cantrell didn't fade out. She was erased. 1 minute, she was breathing life into early 2000s R&B. The next, her name vanished from radio stations, interviews, even Google searches. Gone, like she never existed. At first, people blamed bad contracts, mental health rumors, or just the industry being brutal. But what if that's not the real story? What if Blu Cantrell's downfall wasn't just personal, it was political? Because here's the thing, not long after she was romantically linked to JayZ, her career hit a wall. And then Beyoncé skyrocketed. Some call it coincidence, others call it a cover-up. And the craziest part? There's an actual theory that Blu Cantrell didn't just lose her career, she might have lost her identity. Yep, some believe Blue Ivy isn't Beyoncé's daughter at all, but Blu Cantrell's. Wild? Definitely. But once you start connecting the dots, the industry starts to look a whole lot darker than anyone wants to admit. Let's break it all down. Before the rumors, the breakdowns, or the conspiracy theories, Blu Cantrell was the moment. She had the look, the voice, and the energy to carry early 2000s R&B into its next era. Her breakout single, Hit 'Em Up Style, Oops, wasn't just a hit. It was a cultural reset. A revenge anthem that dominated radio and had every girl group in 2001 singing along like it was gospel. She earned a Grammy nomination straight out the gate, magazine covers, award show appearances. People were already calling her the next big thing, not just in R&B, but across pop music. And it wasn't just hype. Blu had range. She could belt like a powerhouse, flow over hip-hop beats, and still give you that soft vulnerability that makes a song stick in your head for days. She wasn't just riding the wave, she was the wave. But here's what's crazy. Most artists, at that level, they get multiple albums, rebrands, eras. Blu had one major moment, and then silence. No slow decline, no final tour, just gone. So what happened between Hit 'Em Up Style and her complete disappearance? Because from where we're standing, it wasn't just bad luck. After her breakout success, everyone expected Blu Cantrell to come back even harder. But instead of a bigger second album rollout, the machine just stopped moving. Her sophomore project? Barely promoted. No heavy push, no major label support. She went from center stage to background noise, fast. People started talking. Some blamed her team. Others pointed to a shady record deal she allegedly signed, one that gave her almost nothing from her own music. Then, those old modeling photos started resurfacing, the kind that tabloids love to weaponize. Suddenly, Blu went from rising star to problematic in the eyes of an industry that loves a clean image and a quiet artist. But it didn't stop there. By 2014, nearly a decade after her last major hit, Blu was back in headlines, but not for music. TMZ reported she was found running barefoot through the streets of Santa Monica at 2 a.m., screaming that someone had poisoned her. The media pounced, unstable. One hit wonder loses it. Just like that, her entire legacy was reduced to a headline. But here's the part no one talks about. This wasn't some long, slow burnout. Blue Cantrell didn't fade away. She dropped off the map overnight, and it happened right after one very specific connection. Here's where the story takes a sharp left. Because just before Blue's career stalled, she was romantically linked to one of the most powerful men in music, JayZ. They were spotted together at industry parties. Rumors swirled about luxury getaways, late-night studio sessions, all the classic signs of something more than business. People close to Blue said there was definitely a vibe between them. Then, silence. Out of nowhere, her label drops her. Her music disappears from radio rotation. Her second album gets little to no push, despite having potential. It's like the industry that once hyped her up suddenly hit mute. And meanwhile, JayZ's next chapter begins. He gets serious with Beyonce. Their careers start aligning, and suddenly the power couple narrative takes off. And here's where it gets shady. Was Blue just collateral damage in the formation of music's most iconic duo? Or did someone intentionally make sure she wouldn't be a threat, musically or personally? Because it's not just the timing that's suspicious. It's what happened next that makes you question everything. Let's just say, if imitation is the sincerest form of flattery, Blue Cantrell should have been honored. Because after her connection to JayZ, Beyonce's career didn't just level up. It started mirroring Blue's a little too closely. First, there was Breathe, Blue's collab with Sean Paul, a massive R&B hit. Not long after, Beyonce drops Baby Boy, also with Sean Paul. The vibes? Uncannily similar. Coincidence? Then Blue drops a gritty promo video for her track Round Up. Soon after, Beyonce and JayZ released their iconic '03 Bonnie and Clyde video, with nearly identical visuals. The outlaw couple aesthetic, the getaway car, the whole mood. It's not just one overlap, it's a pattern. And Beyonce's lyrics? Oh, they weren't subtle either. She sings, "I was in love with a Sagittarius. I've been hurt by a Pisces." Guess who's a Sagittarius? JayZ. Guess who's a Pisces? Yep, Blue Cantrell. So, was this just messy love triangle drama spilling into the music? Or was it a message? Because from the outside, it starts to look like Blue's art, her image, even her storyline, was being repackaged and replaced. And if that sounds crazy, wait until you hear the theory that takes this from music drama to full-blown conspiracy. All right, buckle up, because this is where things go from suspicious to straight-up surreal. Some fans, and even a few industry insiders, believe that Blue Ivy Carter isn't Beyoncé's biological daughter at all. They think she's Blue Cantrell's. Sounds unhinged, right? But let's break down why this theory refuses to die. Around the time Blue Cantrell vanished from the public eye, she was reportedly pregnant. No official announcement, no baby ever seen, just whispers. And who was she linked to at that exact time? JayZ. Now here's where it gets eerie. The name Blue Ivy raises eyebrows. Blue, obviously. But Ivy? Some say it's a play on IV, the Roman numeral for 4. And guess whose birthday is the 16th of March? That's 3/16. 3 + 1 = 4. People even speculate it's a hidden timestamp, a nod to Blue Cantrell herself. And here's the twist that makes people's skin crawl. When you Google Blue Cantrell today, guess what comes up first? Blue Ivy. Not her music, not her career, not even her mental health scandal. Just JayZ and Beyoncé's daughter. Coincidence or erasure by design? Because some believe naming their child Blue Ivy wasn't random, it was calculated. A final nail in Blue Cantrell's legacy. Make her name synonymous with something else, something they control. Even Jaguar Wright, former industry insider turned whistleblower, has said it. That girl didn't just disappear, she was disappeared. So maybe it is just a bizarre fan theory. Or maybe it's the kind of theory people laugh off, because the truth is way too dangerous. Blue Cantrell might be the most shocking case. But here's the thing. She's not the only one. The deeper you dig, the more it looks like a pattern. A disturbing one. Let's talk about Mia. Early 2000s, she was everywhere. Grammy-winning music, collabs with JayZ, movies, even choreography credits. She was on a Beyoncé-level trajectory until she wasn't. Suddenly, she's indie, fighting just to get her music released. No scandal, no drama, just quietly pushed aside. Then there's Monica, a powerhouse vocalist with chart-topping hits and a loyal fan base. But as Beyoncé's solo star rose, Monica's mainstream presence faded. She later hinted that things behind the scenes were intentionally blocking her success. Industry politics, closed doors. And the one that really makes people pause? Aaliyah. She was already crossing into Hollywood, a rising fashion icon, rumored to be a major threat to Destiny's Child's future. And then, a mysterious plane crash. Gone at 22. Theories swirled. Some fans believe her death wasn't just tragic, it was convenient. And guess who's been saying this for years? Jaguar Wright, the same insider who blew the whistle on Blu Cantrell's alleged erasure. She's named names, pointed fingers, and claimed there's a deliberate system in place to clear the path for certain artists, while quietly silencing the rest. So was Blu Cantrell just another victim of personal issues? Or was she part of something much bigger? A system that decides who gets remembered and who gets wiped from history. By 2014, Blu Cantrell had been off the radar for nearly a decade. No new music, no interviews, no comebacks, just silence. Then suddenly, she's back in the headlines. But not for a new album, not for a surprise return. For a breakdown. According to TMZ, Blu was found barefoot in the streets of Santa Monica at 2 a.m., screaming that someone had poisoned her. Police took her in for a psychological evaluation, and just like that, the media had its headline, Blu Cantrell loses it. And let's be honest, the moment the words mental health episode hit the news, the public stopped caring about her music and started labeling her as crazy. But here's the shady part. This isn't the first time the industry used a breakdown to bury someone inconvenient. Jaguar Wright? Labeled unstable after exposing major execs. Kanye West? Institutionalized days after calling out industry elites. Britney Spears? Branded as unhinged for years, until we found out she was trapped in a conservatorship the whole time. Mental health struggles are real, but in the music industry, they're also a weapon. For Blu, that one night was all the press needed to close the book on her forever. No compassion, no context, just unstable and done. It didn't matter that she might have been struggling for years. It didn't matter that she had been exploited, abandoned, and erased. That one moment gave the industry the perfect excuse to never look back. And after that, no more record deals, no more collaborations, no chances left. She wasn't just forgotten. She was blacklisted. Here's the part that makes your stomach turn. Even after dropping one of the biggest R&B hits of the early 2000s, Blu Cantrell barely saw a dime. Why? Because the moment she signed her first major record deal, she unknowingly handed over everything. She signed with Arista Records, trusting the label, the team, and her lawyer. What she didn't know, that lawyer was also working for the label. Conflict of interest? Absolutely. But in the music industry, it's business as usual. That contract locked her into a predatory deal where she had zero ownership over her own music, no publishing rights, no real royalties, just a voice and no control. And when she started asking questions about her money, her deal, her future, suddenly her contract wasn't renewed. No explanation, no support, just gone. Sound familiar? TLC went bankrupt at the height of their success. JoJo was stuck in a deal that wouldn't even let her release music. Megan Thee Stallion had to take her label to court just to own her own work. This is how the industry works. They sign you young, dangle fame in your face, and once you're too powerful or too loud, they shut the door. And in Blue's case, that door slammed right after JayZ became president of Def Jam in 2004. Same year, her contract coincidentally wasn't renewed. So you tell me, was this just bad business? Or was Blu Cantrell intentionally cut off from the machine that made her because she was becoming inconvenient? Here's the part that keeps people up at night. If Blu Cantrell was the only artist who mysteriously vanished, maybe we could write it off as a tragic mix of bad deals and personal struggles. But she wasn't. There's a pattern. Talented women, especially Black women, who were dominating early 2000s R&B, suddenly disappearing just as Beyoncé's solo career exploded. Mia, Monica, Aaliyah, Blue, all pushed aside, all at their peak. And who benefits from that vacuum? The same couple that controls the charts, the labels, the press, and, according to some, the narrative. It's not just that Blue lost her career. It's that she lost her voice, her identity, even her Google results. When you search her name now, all you see is Blue Ivy Carter. That's not just a coincidence. That's systematic erasure. Because in this industry, the real power move isn't just making someone disappear. It's making people forget they ever existed. And the scariest part? If it could happen to Blue, how many others have already been erased? And more importantly, who's next?